In this part, I am going to start fresh with a new file. Very quickly to summarize last session, we looked at how to open a new document, a new part document especially. Click OK. And this is your standard format. Before I proceed, I tend to check at the units. If they're not anything apart from MGS, I toggle them by clicking the little chevron. It gives me all the other options if you prefer to work in some other system. Just very quickly, we have this command manager here. We have these layered tabs. We can go into any of those if and when needed. This space is called the feature manager tree. And what I can do is I'm going to make these planes visible by selecting and hitting the show icon. So I'm going to show them, keep them on permanently, because it's quite nice to have that feeling where you know which direction you're looking at. So just look in the gray space. Also, I'm going to test out my mouse. So rolling the wheel zooms out, rolling in zooms back in. I can use the mouse gestures. And I think this is back to the 4 mouse gestures. So I'm going to go back in and very quickly turn that to 8 gestures from customize menu. I'm going to click OK. This is exactly how I like it. Right. Now, if you remember, we talked about the fact that Solidworks is a parametric model. That means it depends on a flat surface to be able to start your drawing, your first key sketch. So for that purpose, when you open a new part file, a blank part file, you have 3 opportunities. You can start sketching on the front plane, you can start sketching on the right plane or the top plane, whichever one is of your choice. Since we're doing just a bit of practice and getting used to the software, it doesn't really matter which plane we draw on. Now, the procedure I'm going to tell you, it's very specific, and there are a couple of ways of doing exactly the same job. What I would like you to do is probably look at everything and then make your selection in terms of what is your favorite way of working. When you have a semi-complicated module, it is necessary for you to have some discipline in terms of where you click, what you're editing. Okay, so this will all make sense in a second. So for example, if I want to draw a new sketch on top plane, this is my floor plane as I call it. So what I can do is, well, if you like this option, I can select it from the graphics area and I can go into sketch from here down. Now this sketch icon with a little asterisk, that little twinkle there, that means this is going to be a new sketch. We're going to draw on that top plane a new sketch. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. I'm not going to click on that icon. There is another way of doing that, which is from the feature tree. So I can select a given plane and I can say create a new sketch on that. Once again, the same icon pops up that particular way. Okay. Also, I can go into the sketch menu and I can go sketch and I can create a new sketch, not 3D sketch. I can create a new sketch and then SolidWorks will go ahead and ask me, where do you want to draw this? So it's basically a long-winded process of doing exactly the same thing through a couple of ways. My favorite one, and the reason this is my favorite way to work, because it kind of guarantees I'm not misclicking. So for example, if my cursor is here, I know my selected plane right now is the right plane, but if I intend to draw on top plane, and that clearly we have an overlap there. So we got right plane sitting behind is the top plane and sitting behind it is the front plane, you know. I tend to avoid situations like this where I cannot be 100% sure I'm sketching on the correct plane. Okay. For that purpose, what I tend to do is I go onto the feature tree and I say, right, I know I'm going to sketch on top plane. I'm going to go select and go into the sketch environment. The minute I click that, your menus will change. By default, you'll be on features. It will toggle you back onto sketch so you can see all of these new options popping up. Okay. Also, for the first time only, the screen will align itself quite nicely with the sketching plane. In this particular case, it is the top plane. Okay, if you missed that, I'm going to do it again, but since we're watching this on the video, there is no point. However, I have done that now. Okay, for example, I wanted to draw on the front plane. I'm going to go select the front plane and go into the new sketch. There we go. Screen aligns itself quite nicely. Once I finish drawing whatever I want to draw, I have a couple of ways of exiting the sketch environment. So for example, I can hit the exit sketch icon from top left corner. It will always remain here, and you must exit the sketch before you think of adding any more features. Okay. There is another icon here. This is generally grayed out, but it shows itself minute you bring your cursor here. So you can save your sketch and exit, or you can dump everything you've done and you can leave. Okay, that's one way of doing that. And I'm sure your mouse gesture will give you, no, in my case it doesn't. I could get one of the mouse gestures to customize as exit sketch option. Okay, probably we'll look at it next time. Okay, so I'm going to exit the sketch once again, and I can look at it. If I had sketched anything on there, there's nothing at the moment. Right, I'm going to go back into the top plane and create a new sketch. Right, this time we're going to draw something. When we are in the sketch environment, we get given these sketch entities. All of these are called sketch entities, and these are all the options you have to be able to create anything you wish to create. And believe me, those are enough. There are more tools than necessary, and they do the job all the time. Okay, so this particular menu, we got the sketch entities here, and I'll be referring to them as sketch entities. You know, there's a line tool there, there's a circle, there's a spline, there's a rectangle, there are arcs, ellipse. You can do some lettering and you do some engraving and embossing if you wanted, which is pretty cool actually. You got the slots, we got the polygons, arcs, and we got the point as well. Very handy. It's not pointless. Okay, now, so just looking at the sketch, there are tons of other things on here which we are going to use all of them. However, for starters, I just want you to try and freestyle it. You know, just get to know the software a little bit. Don't be too disciplined in terms of what you want to do. Just crack on with it. Draw whatever you would like to draw. So for example, click onto the line tool and get a feel for how it actually works. Right, okay, line tool, and then there was a change here, right? So all of a sudden we went from feature manager to a property manager. So the minute we are in the line tool, right, and there are a ton of options going on here. We're not going to worry about anything. What I'm going to notice is my cursor has changed from an arrowhead to a pencil with a line attached to it. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to go, what happens if I click? Right, okay, well, there is a line attached to this, and I can draw the line wherever I want to now. So I can basically just draw a random little line that goes up to there. Okay, excellent. And I think I'm still in the line tool, so I can click wherever I like, and I can actually go back on myself and I can click there. So that makes a nice shape there. Let's see if I can come out of this profile. To do that, I'm going to press escape on the keyboard, and that's standard help. If you're stuck somewhere, try pressing escape. And once I press escape, we are out of that command. Now I am free to go into a new sketch entity. Let's just say this time I want to draw a circle. Okay. Right click on circle. Tons of stuff happening on the left hand side. Let's not worry about it too much. For the time being, obviously, we're going to look into that in some detail later. Okay, so I can click, drag, and drop, and I can draw myself a bunch of circles then. Right, I know that works now. I'm going to press escape again, come out of that command, and I'm going to try a new shape this time. So probably a rectangle. Once again, lots of information in the feature manager tree, but let's not worry about that just yet. Okay, well, I can draw a rectangle. So it's a click, drag, and I can reshape, resize this. Well, I think I want you to just have a little more practice. So, hang on, we can zoom out. If you need more space, I want to be able to draw here, I can zoom out. Okay. What I don't want to do is rotate out. Okay. And then you are drawing on a notepad that is not flat. Okay. You're trying to draw on an inclined surface, which is never nice. You know, look, it's going to look like this. It's not going to be nice. Okay. So let's just not do that. I'm just showing you things what you don't have to do. There we go, looking normal. Just in case if you did that, I'm going to go look normal too from here, okay? Which straightens everything out, or Control 8 on the keyboard. Once again, I realize I'm still in the rectangle command. I can do all of that stuff there. Let's have a go with polygons. Okay, well, there is a hexagon right there. Okay, fine. ellipse. That's your major axis there. This is your minor axis. You got a nice shape. I can adjust that. Well done, nicely. Slot shape. I love this shape. This is nice. This is your axis, and then look at that. Boom. You know, it just saves you hassle of drawing two circles, a rectangle, and trimming everything off. Talking about trimming, okay, so by now you should know that these are the entities which allows you to draw stuff. What's important now is, obviously we are not going to ever design this in our lives, okay. This is just a bit of practice, just a bit of fun, trying to understand the software. However, what's more important is to be able to use a trim entity command to make something meaningful out of it. So I'm going to demonstrate that now. What I can do is, if I want a clean slate, I'm going to box select everything from top to bottom like this, and I'm going to hit delete on the keyboard, and it works really well. So I'm going to go clean that up. I'm going to hit F on the keyboard to fit it all in nicely. So I'm back to the fit screen mode there. Excellent. Now let's give that a go. So for example, if I wanted a circle right roughly in the middle somewhere, let's not worry about the snap connectors just yet. Right, I got a circle there, and I have I want to draw a couple of lines now. So I'm going to go maybe draw a line that way, and I can press escape. I'll show you another trick in terms of how you can save your screen movement a lot. And I have drawn that. I'm pressing escape to come out of that that command every single time. Okay, so what if I'm only interested in this Pac-Man shape here, and I want to get rid of that line, that bit of dangly line, and that little slice. Okay, what I'm going to do for that purpose, I'm going to go use the trim entities command. Now this is really handy. It's super exciting. This is like you have a ninja sword and you can just chop stuff that you don't really need. Okay, within trim entities we have 5 different commands. By default it will come on to, it will be always on power trim. It's all right. It's a nice little function, but the one I really want to use, and the one I'm a biggest fan of, is called trim to closest. Okay, I'm going to activate that. Remember, sometimes you will have to do that into the feature manager tree. Okay then, so what does that mean? Oh, hang on a minute, I got a scissor attached to my cursor now. So what can I do with that? I can do that. If I select that circle, oh no, I didn't want that. Okay, right, not really a problem. I can undo, Control Z, and everything is forgiven. Trim entities, trim to closest. I'm gonna go, I want to delete this bit here. So what trim entities with trim to closest does, it deletes from intersection to intersection. So I'm gonna go chop that bit off. Hello, I like that. And that. And that. Look, that's the shape I had in mind before I started this lecture. Amazing. This is nice. This gives me a lot of power now. I'm going to green tick to confirm. Once again, a rhythm of things you got to get used to. Now, I think I know a few things. Now, I have access to all these shapes, and I have trim entities. So, I can generate a bit more of a profile if I wanted to. See what I did there? So if I wanted to come out of the line tool, all I got to do is double click, and that drops the line tool right there. So if I click there, it will stay onto the line tool. But if I didn't want to stay onto line tool, or if I want to draw not from that point, maybe this point here or somewhere else, all I got to do is double click and the line tool will drop itself. Now, since we've done that, I'm going to go trim the area I'm not interested in. So let's just say I don't really want this space, or this space, or this space, and the shape I wanted was this particular shape. Okay, obviously a random shape, and I think that's pretty interesting. Now, using these shapes and a trim command, let's try and draw something which we all relate to.